Hi, I'm John with Traditions Performance Firearms, and today we're going to talk about cleaning your Flintlock muzzleloader. For any questions you might have on how to disassemble your Flintlock muzzleloader, please see our video titled Flintlock Disassembly. When cleaning your Flintlock muzzleloader, Traditions offers two different styles of Flintlocks on the market today. One is the traditional style with your flash hole liner actually drilled and tapped into the side of your barrel. The other is with the accelerator breech plug typically found on our PA pellet rifle. For both of these models, you want to remove the flash hole liner from the tapped hole. This helps to prevent any vacuum effect that could ensue from not allowing air to come in behind your cleaning jags and your cleaning brushes. When it comes to cleaning both of these rifles, the only thing that changes is the direction of your range rod and cleaning brushes and the pathway you're taking on swabbing your bores. With the standard side lock muzzleloader, once you've removed your flash hole liner, you're simply going to take your ramrod and solvent, saturated on a patch. Today we're going to be using Easy Clean 2 solvent. So with your standard traditional Flintlock muzzleloader, the pathway of your ramrod, the pathway of your cleaning jags and your brushes is always going to be from the muzzle to the breech and back to the muzzle. The breech plug on the back of these is permanent and it is not designed to come out. To clean one of these, simply we're going to take Easy Clean 2, saturate a patch, and we've removed the flash hole liner to prevent a vacuum effect from occurring, and run this wet patch down through the muzzle. And typically we let that solvent sit about 10 to 15 minutes to break up any lead and copper fouling that's accumulated inside of there from shooting. From this point, I'm going to let this one sit off to one side and let that solvent do its work. With the PA pellet model with the removable breech plug, this is cleaned the same as most modern muzzleloaders, where you can clean from breech to muzzle. So we mount this in. Use the same saturated patch. Mount it on your jag and feed it in from your breech side and just run it up towards your muzzle. Again, after about 10 to 15 minutes, it tends to break up your lead and copper in there, as well as any extra powder fouling that has accumulated inside. The next step is running your copper bristle brush to break up that lead and copper that might be clinging to the side walls of the rifling. And you can repeat this process as much as necessary. From this point, this rifle hasn't been fired that much, so we're going to go ahead and run some dry patches down through it. Just mount a dry patch on your same jag and patch it through from breech to muzzle. And keep running patches through until you come out with a white patch. From this point with the PA pellet, you can visually inspect the bore to make sure that it's clean and they have a nice shiny surface around the lands and grooves. When cleaning a traditional muzzleloader, you can run a bore light down the length of the bore and check the side wall of the bore as well. And also, you want to come in with a small cleaning brush and clean out the surfaces of the flash hole liner in here. And make sure these threads are nice and clean. You can apply solvent if there has been a lot of buildup in here from excessive shooting. You can also use the same brush to clean out any obstructions that you might have in the flash hole liner itself. The next step in cleaning your side lock muzzleloader is cleaning both your small components and your lock assembly. The first step in cleaning your small components, and what we typically recommend, is just using one of our parts baths and just dropping these components in the basket and letting them soak for 10 to 15 minutes to knock up any fouling that might be accumulated on these from firing your gun. The next step in cleaning is cleaning your lock assembly itself. There are two ways this can be done. Typically you want to use a cleaning brush, but you can either apply the solvent to the brush itself or apply it to a patch and then wipe down your lock assembly with the saturated patch. Today we're going to use Easy Clean 2. I'm just going to saturate the patch with the solvent itself. And we're going to wipe down all the surfaces of this flintlock assembly. One key surface that you want to focus on when cleaning your side lock assembly is both your flash pan and the frizzen itself. This is the place that tends to get the most powder fouling buildup, and also you want to keep the cleanest in order for your gun to function properly. But you can take your saturated patch, wipe down your mainsprings, your sear surfaces, the plate itself along the plate body, as well as the hammer and the top jaw. From this point, once you've soaked down your lock assembly pretty thoroughly, just take your brush, and or if it's very dirty, a copper bristle T-handle brush, and scrub the surfaces down, trying to break up any powder fouling that may have accumulated from your priming powder. Let's switch to this. Once you've pretty thoroughly scrubbed your lock assembly, just take your basic shop rag, wipe it down. And from this point, I also like to take a lubricated rag that has gun oil and wipe down all the spring surfaces as well as the priming surface and the frizzen. This just gives it a good film of oil on all those crucial mechanical surfaces. After 10 to 15 minutes of letting your small parts soak, just open your parts bath, remove the basket, and dump your parts onto a cleaning rag. From here, if you see any powder or lead fouling built up on these, go ahead and scrub those down as well, and then just use the dry part of your rag to wipe them down. Now, as mentioned previously, there's one added component on the PA pellet series, which is our accelerator breech plug. For this, you have an added cleaning step of using your small communication hole brush to scrub out both the flash hole liner area as well as the communication hole in the front of the plug. To wipe it down, we're going to use some Easy Clean 2 on the saturated patch and wipe down the surface and the face of your plug. You can also, at this point, take your breech plug and set it over top of your shop rag and put some of your solvent down the communication hole. That just helps to break up the fouling that's down in there. You can let that sit for a little while, depending on how long you've shot it. Take your communication hole brush, come down in from the front, and break all that up in there. From this point, tap it out on your shop rag. If you have compressed air, you can use compressed air, like the little cans of compressed air, to blow out any fouling out the front to help keep your breech plug clean. And just wipe it down with a shop rag and then switch over to your lubricated rag. At this point, your components should be clean and ready for reassembly.